It's another wild news day in the world of Magic the Gathering. We've been teased with a Warhammer 40K secret lair. We've got the Richard Garfield buyout. Elspeth might be on new Capenna. And that's not even all the news we're going to talk about today.
Magic. I am a wizard! History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends, I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for another glorious installment of Mega Magic News. Now, before we dive into today's news, I want to offer a clarification from yesterday's video because one of the pieces of information I provided was not accurate, specifically in regards to the Japanese set boosters. Now, I watched the Twitch stream that Wizards of the Coast did, and it appeared that what they were saying was the Japanese set boosters were going to be 10 card booster packs, but that is not the case. The information has been printed in text on Wizards of the Coast website, and after reviewing it, it is quite clear that actually what's going on is these will be regular size set boosters with 12 cards per pack, but there will be 10 packs per box instead of 30. And the reason for this is Japan has real space issues. So you've got these tiny little magic shops, and having smaller booster boxes is a real boon for those businesses. So my apologies for incorrectly reporting that from the Twitch stream, and my thank you to those of you who left comments letting me know that that information was not accurate. Now, let us start out with the Warhammer 40K secret lair teaser. Up on the screen, you're going to see an image for a playmat. Now, admittedly, I know that we're getting Warhammer 40K commander decks, but I do not recall at any point ever hearing about a actual secret lair based on Warhammer 40K. So there's two possibilities here. Either this has actually been reported on before and we've finally reached the point of magic singularity where somebody who literally covers the news on a pretty much daily basis, can't even keep things straight. So if it turns out that we already knew about this, then we've reached the point where even people who need to pay attention to all the information are hitting that saturation level. And I've actually seen that with other creators in the magic sphere where they go, I'm pretty sure I remember things being this way. There's just so much going on in the game right now that it's very difficult to keep up. But either way, you can see this is a playmat that is listed under specifically a secret lair title, right? It says secret lair right before the word Warhammer. And so that says to me, yeah, we're getting a secret lair for 40K. I mean, I kind of expected like something like that would happen along with the commander decks. If you're going to do a licensing agreement with Games Workshop, you're probably going to want to try and extract as much money as you can. And you can see in the artwork there, it very much just looks like a space marine. I spent tons and tons of time in the LGS, and actually, I used to collect Warhammer models, a ton of stuff, right? I had Warhammer Fantasy and 40K. I had the Idoneth Deepkin, the soul-stealing elves, and I had Plague Marines for this, like, all that stuff. Warhammer is pretty cool, but it is still a little bit weird wrapping my head around the idea of it coming into Magic, even though we're currently dealing with New Capenna and Kamigawa, which are giant departures from what Magic the Gathering has been in the past. But either way, I knew there would be people who were excited about this, and let me know if somehow we've already heard about this secret lair in some shape or form, because I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. Now, let us talk about something I didn't mention in the intro, and that is the Japanese Store Championship promos. You probably haven't seen these yet. They're based around the Dungeons and Dragons set. These are the spring Japanese promos, all right? So you've got the participation promo, which is Cridle of Baldur's Gate. You have the top 8 promo, which is Adult Gold Dragon, and you have the first place promo, which is the Grand Master of Flowers. For me, I think that Cridle's artwork is the most interesting, and I finally understand now why Japan gets all these sort of things, why they have the special Planeswalkers, why they get these different kind of promos and whatever. It purely comes down to the market over there. Apparently, if you want to compete in Japanese like card markets, you have to offer distinct products that can't be acquired anywhere else in the world. Essentially, the Japanese card market insists on being treated like it's special compared to other card markets. And so as a result, the manufacturers of the card games take that into account when producing their products. So it is interesting to think. It's something that really never dawned on me before. I went, why specifically are these being released over there? But that sort of specialty clause that's required over there, it makes sense to me, right? So these promos, ultimately, I don't really feel like we're missing out on that much. In terms of making things special, yeah, you know what? They've got all right artwork. But there's nothing in here that makes me go, man, I really feel like I'm missing out hardcore. So this isn't something that really gives me that FOMO kind of scenario, right? Now, let's move on to Elspeth being in New Capenna. This is not what I was expecting. You can see this is a partial booster image for New Capenna. And when you look at the artwork, there are very, very strong indicators that we are dealing with Elspeth here. You can't automatically say for sure it's Elspeth, but come on, the details are there, right? Take a look at the armor that she's wearing. It's got the same, every iteration of Elspeth has this like silvery metallic armor that has the kind of gold banding going on in different variations. Elspeth's also known for wearing like headpieces and things like that. So you've got a couple different pieces. I mean, Elspeth has that vibe, right? It's got the same kind of, the hair and eye color, it all matches up to be Elspeth. It's really, really weird to see her as a flapper girl, though. You know what I mean? Actually, though, I have to admit, it's weird, but at the same time, I really dig it. When it comes to me, I'm a huge fan of the old world aesthetic, the way that ladies used to dress back in the 50s, some of the 20s vibes or whatever. The flapper girls with their little boas and the dangly little earrings that look like the part of your like your curtain pull cord, right? It's got that kind of a vibe. So you got the boa, you got those little earrings, and actually the flapper girls would also wear these headbands and whatever, right? So it's interesting to see a Magic the Gathering Planeswalker depicted in a real Earth styling from pretty much almost like, 100 years ago, it feels like, right? It is very, very different, but ultimately, what is Elspeth doing in New Capenna, right? We're going to see multiple Planeswalkers there. So we've got Elspeth, no idea what she's doing there. We've also got nixilis. Now, there's a bigger clue about what's going on with him. Actually, I'm going to put an image up on the screen first of the leader of the Maestros, okay? So what you're looking at here is almost guaranteed to be the leader of the Maestro family, one of the 5 major crime families on New Capenna. You can see he is wearing a pendant that has his family symbol on it. He's got this crazy angel like statue. You know, he's got the big fur wrap and everything. He's got an opulent sort of Godfather-esque I'm in charge kind of vibe going on with him, right? Well, that gets dashed to pieces when nixilis shows up, because take a look at this artwork. This is nixilis standing over the broken and defeated body of the leader of the Maestros. Is he taking over the Maestro crime family, or did they just basically mess with the wrong demon? nixilis looks so impressive here, and his grandeur is added to by the fact that in the initial image we looked at, the Maestro leader does have a level of intimidation. He is a pretty scary looking demon, but he's nothing to nixilis. I love the contrast. In the previous artwork, we saw him draped in his giant fur stole, right? Here it is. Nope. His shirt's been ripped open. He's laying there dangling from the necklace that he has around, but the pendant, the actual pendant that represents the Maestros, that's gone. His staff is off to the side. The angel is off out of the artwork frame, but you can see the pole of the staff kind of coming in from the side there. nixilis standing in this sort of incredible pose, hand on his chest, looking upwards, wings spread out and tail curled around the entire scene in sort of a possessive, I did this. He's holding this guy like a rag doll, almost like a child would drag a doll around. And it's an epic scene where I want to know what happens in the story for the leader of the Maestros to be thrown down like this, because this is super epic. But it doesn't matter how powerful you are, right? Imagine the arrogance of the leader of the Maestros. He's thinking, you know what? You come to my city? You come to New Capenna? Nah, you don't get to do what you want here, talking to nixilis that way. We're going to take this guy out. And then nixilis just shows up and it's like, you don't even understand. Your world is a fraction of existence to me. This is everything to you. This is almost nothing to me. I'm eternal. I'm going to be around forever. I'm a demon that can travel through the multiverse. You don't even know other worlds exist. I mean, I'm making assumptions. Maybe the Maestro leader is aware of other worlds, but I'm just going off the few images that they've given us and the awesome story that it creates, right? Like, this is such epic artwork. What is Ob Nixilis doing on New Capenna? I mean, sure, seeing Elspeth there with her cute little look is like, hey girl, what you doing here? That's cool. But Ob Nixilis has my full attention. I don't know if he's going to be like the centerpiece of the story for New Capenna. What if he fits into the Doomsday Prophecy? If you guys didn't know, one of the groups is the Brokers, and they have a Doomsday Prophecy about something the Halo running out. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but what if Ob Nixilis showing up is actually the fulfillment of the Brokers' Doomsday Policy, and they kind of like fall behind him? I'm not sure if they're actually for or against the policy. We don't have enough information about New Capenna, and the story information won't start flowing out until near the end of the month. So for the next few weeks, we're going to be bereft of this stuff, just sort of dealing with what we've got. But man, my imagination hungers to know more. There is a lot of potential, and I absolutely love this artwork so much. I hope it shows up on a card, but even if it doesn't, you know what I mean? The artwork is, it's just so incredible. Anyways, that's enough about that. Let's talk about the Richard Garfield buyout, because this is a very strange situation. Now, we're specifically talking about Richard Garfield Magic cards here. We're not talking about the human being who is out there making games, right? Richard Garfield made Magic the Gathering and a ton of other awesome games. He has been immortalized in Magic the Gathering on an actual Magic card. There are two different printings of this card. One was printed in Unhinged, and one was printed when they did that special unbox set. And you can see when you look at them, there are some variations, but the cards function identically, and it's a very, very cool card. The idea behind this is you essentially get to play Mental Magic. And if you don't know what Mental Magic is, it's like a memory game in a way, where you can play any Magic card in your hand as any other card in the game that has an identical casting cost. So if, for example, you had Counterspell in your hand, which is a spell that costs 2 blue, you could cast that as any other spell in the entire game of Magic that cost exactly 2 blue. So if you can remember or know a wide range of Magic cards, then you have a significant advantage using this. And in fact, you can actually just pull out your phone and search up Magic cards in the current era. So calling it Mental Magic right now might be a bit of a misnomer, because that's what it originally started out as. And Mental Magic actually started in the day before you could find out what Magic cards existed on the internet. And as I say that phrase, I can feel my bones turning to dust. I'm an ancient dinosaur. Thinking about a time where you couldn't just go online and look up information for Magic. I lived in a time where you didn't know what cards were coming in a set because you couldn't look it up online. You didn't know beforehand, and you didn't even know it was rare, uncommon, or common when you open the packs. I feel like I'm living in a different dimension now. The future is crazy. But anyways, back to this Richard Garfield thing. These cards right here, absolutely love them. My buddy knows. I have one in my cube. Every time it shows up, if he gets it, he puts it face down as a land so I can't get access to it. There have been times where he would put it into play or put it into his graveyard and I'd somehow get it on my side, and I know a lot of Magic cards. So this thing is super dangerous in my hands. I can do a lot of damage with it. My funniest story with Richard Garfield actually was one game where I'm staring at my hand, trying to figure out what cards to change these into. What do I change my hand into to win the game? And then I stared at the cards in my hand and went, oh wait, the cards in my hand written as is win the game. And I just played the cards in my hand and went, I spent a few minutes thinking about nothing. What a waste. But anyhow, this is a weird buyout because it's an uncard. So somebody has come along and just scooped up all the copies of this card. There aren't very many of them kicking around in the first place. And so it really is most likely just somebody who's a fan of Richard Garfield and wants to own the cards, because there's not a lot of room for these to become super valuable over time or anything, right? Even with the spike, like, people bought these out and the spike like tripled the price of the card, and that made it maybe $5. So this isn't a super valuable card. It's just fascinating to see a buyout for a card that isn't really being chased for what seems like financial reasons, right? It's really just, there aren't that many of it. Richard Garfield is the person who made the game. Having one is really cool. I own 2 normal versions, both versions of Richard Garfield. The only one I'm trying to get is the foil Richard Garfield, but I may as well give up on that one because those are super hard to come by, and I imagine the price tag on them has become quite high. But either way, it's interesting to see that the creator of the game is on a card, and like almost 30 years after the game was made, and probably 20 years after the card was made, all of a sudden they're all just being snagged up. So that was an interesting point. Definitely not enough for its own video, but good to slap into one of these mega magic news episodes. Thanks for coming by. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Big shout out to all my patrons, and I'll leave some stuff on the screen if you'd like to spend some more time together. Goodbye for now.